Dominik Szoboszlai gives heartbreaking one-word answer after Liverpool star's dream shattered. Dominik Szoboszlai could barely bring himself to speak after his World Cup dream was cruelly shattered following Hungary's dramatic defeat to the Republic of Ireland. The Liverpool midfielder and his teammate Milos Kerkez were denied a place in the playoffs for next year's tournament in the most devastating of circumstances in Budapest, with the visitors scoring in stoppage time to steal second place in their qualifying group. Both Szoboszlai and Kerkez had provided assists earlier in the game as Hungary looked set to cling on to a spot in the playoffs, even after Troy Parrott had brought the scores back level with just 10 minutes remaining. The former Tottenham forward though completed his hat-trick deep into stoppage time to send the Irish wild and leave their hosts distraught. Szoboszlai could be seen in tears after the game, with the Hungary captain unable to hide his emotions as he acknowledged supporters after the game. And the emotions were clearly still raw as he spoke to host broadcaster M4 Sport afterward, with the Liverpool star only giving short responses during an awkward interview. Szoboszlai was first asked by the interviewer how much his heart hurt following the defeat, to which he simply replied, "Very." The 25-year-old was then asked whether the game could be analyzed in any way, to which he responded, "No." The third question saw him asked whether soccer can be unfair at times, to which he replied, "It looks like it, yes." The defeat ends any hopes for Hungary of reaching next year's World Cup in the United States, Canada and Mexico, with the nation unable to secure a spot in the playoffs via the Nations League either. But while Szoboszlai and Kerkez were left heartbroken, former Liverpool goalkeeper Caoimhín Kelleher celebrated with his teammates, having played a huge role in his side's sensational comeback. The Republic of Ireland will find out who it faces in the playoffs on November 20th, with semi-finals set to take place on March 26, 2026, and the final matches on March 31st. Strange Dominik Szoboszlai moment questioned as Hungarian media devastated by Ireland drama. Hungary's media was left reeling following the nation's defeat to the Republic of Ireland, with Liverpool duo Dominik Szoboszlai and Milos Kerkez caught up in the drama. Szoboszlai and Kerkez had looked to have helped their country to a playoff spot, with both having recorded assists in Budapest as Hungary desperately tried to cling on to a draw during the final moments. Troy Parrott completed a remarkable hat-trick in stoppage time to steal second place in their qualifying group and leave Hungary's players devastated as their dreams of reaching next year's World Cup were shattered in the most dramatic of circumstances. Szoboszlai could barely bring himself to speak after the game, and the Liverpool star's emotions were reflected by Hungarian outlet Nemzeti Sport. "It took some time for the national team to gather themselves after the whistle," they wrote. Most of them were lying on the ground staring ahead, others were sitting on the drinks crate by the sideline, holding their heads, but there were also those who were slumped on the bench and staring at their shoes. Only Barnabas Varga was walking around the pitch, shaking his head. It was a moving sight, as he walked up and down the pitch, saddened by the Ferencváros striker, while a few meters behind him the Irish national team members were kissing each other, jumping and singing. Yet 10 minutes before the end of regular time there was still no sign of the great Irish resurrection. The outlet also questioned some of Hungary boss Marco Rossi's selections, including the call to place Szoboszlai in a deeper role in midfield, a decision that was described as strange to see. Providing ratings for both Kerkez and Szoboszlai, the Liverpool duo were both awarded 6 out of 10, with only goalscorer Varga earning a higher rating. Describing Kerkez's performance, they said, "He had 23 touches of the ball in the first half, the best of which was his assist to Barnabas Varga. He lost most of his duels until the break, but improved in the second half, intercepted several crosses, and went forward bravely. We could say it was his best game of the series, winning 7 out of 8 duels on the ground and making 5 key passes." And on Szoboszlai, they added, "He started with a free kick and 3 corners, and the opening goal was achieved. His pass count was 47 to 45 until the break. He played in a more back than usual, filtering position, but he also reached the Irish penalty area from deep. He gave a beautiful pass in the 51st minute, for minutes later he broke between 2 defenders, that was also brilliant. It's a shame about the pass, the ball was lifted behind him for the second Irish goal, but he gave 5 key passes." With their country's World Cup hopes now over, Szoboszlai and Kerkez will return to Liverpool in the coming days as they turn their focus back to matters in the Premier League. The Reds return to action against Nottingham Forest next weekend, with Arne Slot's side having plenty of ground to make up after falling 8 points behind leader Arsenal before the international break. Hugo Ekitike given harsh reality check by French media after Liverpool stars match to forget. France signed off its World Cup qualifying campaign in style with a comfortable victory over Azerbaijan, although the French media hasn't been too generous with its ratings for the Liverpool duo in action. Ibrahima Konate and Hugo Ekitike both started the 3-1 victory in Baku, and played the full 90 minutes, something Arne Slot might not be too happy about, given there was nothing writing on the game for either side. Nevertheless, both players appeared to come through their latest test unscathed, with Konate even given the honor of captaining his country in the absence of the injured Kylian Mbappé. Neither could get themselves on the scoresheet, with Crystal Palace's Jean-Philippe Mateta among the scorers as Didier Deschamps' side recovered from an early scare, having fallen behind inside the opening 4 minutes. France had already secured its qualification ahead of kickoff, and it made sure to end its qualifying run on a winning note, not that the media back in France seemed all that impressed. Footmercato was among those to offer up their player ratings, with both Konate and Ekitike scoring low. Konate was awarded a 5 out of 10, with his summary reading, while he explained that he didn't really understand his demotion but that he would work to regain his starting place with less blues. The Liverpool defender was quite solid. Effective in distribution and showing flair with the ball at his feet, he dominated in duels and held his own in aerial duels. A performance worth highlighting against a relatively weak opponent. Even more harshly, Ekitike was only awarded a 4 out of 10, with the report stating, after a successful start to the season with Liverpool and an exceptional performance as a substitute against Ukraine on Thursday, the former PSG player struggled more tonight. In an unusual system with Mateta and Nkunku, the lanky striker didn't necessarily have the space to express himself. Rarely involved and often unavailable, he failed to stand out and missed some basic opportunities. A match to forget, but one that shouldn't overshadow his overall impressive display. Maxifood wasn't much more generous with its ratings, with the Liverpool duo only faring a little better. Onate was awarded a 6.5, with his assessment saying, "Captain for the day, the Liverpool centre-back, initially under pressure, quickly restored order at the back. Better positioned, more adept at anticipating attacks, and solid in covering, he embodied the team's growing strength after the first half-hour." Ekitike, meanwhile, was handed a 5.5, with his summary reading, "The Liverpool striker showed desire, made runs, and contributed to the play, but remained too imprecise in the final pass or shot. He had some good moments but lacked efficiency in finishing touch. A decent performance, but not entirely convincing." Both Konate and Ekitike will now make their way back to Merseyside, with fans hoping that the former's contract situation can be resolved quickly now as we reach the end of 2025. Assuming neither player picked up any knocks in Azerbaijan, they'll be looking to return to action with Liverpool on Saturday when the Reds host Nottingham Forest in the Premier League.